Reaching a big milestone in another big year. Time just keeps on marching on, that is crystal clear. 23 full years of questing, no banks or deaths, I've got my tricks. RuneScape 3 Hardcore Ultimate Ironman, questing through 2006. Welcome back to November 28th, 2006. The year is coming to a close here. We got a few things left to do before we get there. First up, Hunter. Perhaps we have escaped the tropical wagtails. So we're here at Red Salamanders, around the lava and nonsense, up here near the grave of Scorpius. I'd say that this spot up here is better than down there, just because of positioning. We've got ropes and small fishing nets to catch them with the tree traps. It's a net. It works. Only 3 still, although we are oh so close to be able to use all 4. So that should help quite a bit. It's looking very spicy right here. It's wild. But we'll see how well we do with this. 60 Hunter. Milestone. Achievement. Unlocks. That is 4 traps at a time. This has actually come to the level where it's actually correct. 2 and 3 traps were different, but now we actually can use 4 traps. And later on, I got traps for Galamastic's hides in Daemonheim. 4 traps. Very good. We can place 4 traps here. 1 at this tree, 1 at this tree, 1 at this tree, and the 4th one's a little bit further away, over here. But it should extend the XP a little bit here. The XP rates was already decent. Slightly better than the freaking birds. So now it is actually better. And with an additional set of rope and net, you can run over, repair it, and then loot, and then keep going. So that works. Another good time here is with the Red Salamanders release all. So they're just all gone. Well, that's nice. You know, 4 traps is a little bit more to keep track of. They can also knock it down, which is unfortunate. And also sometimes they get stuck behind the trees, which also isn't great, but for the most part, this is going to give us the bone over here. A little bit of bonus per XP. Let's look at the positives. But yeah, pretty good Hunter XP here. Can't complain. 61 Hunter. That is a quest requirement. That was good to get more quest requirements out of the way. Kind of at the point where we don't really need more Hunter levels right now. But we're kind of in the groove, so might as well. 62 Hunter. That is nothing at all. 63 Hunter. Another very, very good level. This is box trapping red chinchompas. Better than the regular chinchompas, which were at level 53. Could be another good training method. We'll go and compare. 64 Hunter. The XP rates are not super crazy, but they're comparable at least. Losing quite a bit from the chinchompas knocking down the traps here. Well, anyways, that is nothing whatsoever. We will talk about the actual red chinchompas here once we're done. 65 Hunter. That is a quest requirement. Magpie implings and purple moths. None of those exist yet. Another one off the list of quest requirements, though. And magpies have some interesting things. Not yet, though, obviously. Another level for me, though. 66 Hunter. I moved the traps to be right next to the spawn points. Or diagonal from the spawn points, I guess. Is it helping? I don't know. Maybe a little bit. But anyways, that is Polyas. Don't exist. And Spottier Capes, which we can't get the fur for yet. It's a system. And this will be the final Chinchompa. Level 67 Hunter. That is a quest requirement. And more importantly, black salamanders. Very good experience, mostly because they are in the wilderness. And that used to mean something. Although the question is, how safe is it to go to black salamanders? That's going to be something we're going to need to investigate later. Not right now, though. For right now, we are done training Hunter. Suppose we can put away the Rupia set here. We have 774 red Chinchompas. These are range weapons. They throw, and they explode. So, that's definitely something. We've got a few places we could throw these for a bit of range XP. Already level 80 range, so I'm not too worried about range XP right now. But, if we want to do range, it'd be a very good idea to first do some updates. Got some more things that are going to be happening with the house here in the costume room. So we are here, ready to look at stuff. Also, I suppose we could switch out what we have on. We don't really need this anymore. And then honestly, we really don't need Lurpia at all. Unlikely to be hunting in places where that would help, just experience-wise and everything. Maybe we'll take our rock shell out, though. Do some combat. Kind of unnecessary. That's alright. Guess we more want the spine, but that's later with the red Chinchompas. But anyways, we're getting to that. On December 1st, 2006, behind the scenes, we got Treasure Trail update, quest in Drainer Manor, Christmas, as you might expect, and the, at this point, typical graphical updates and stuff for the website. So, moving directly to the first update here of December. On December 5th, 2006. Few random little bits, which will eventually become kind of a patch notes idea. There was a movement delay when you went to Entrana. So you would get to Entrana and then just be stuck there for a little bit. Possibly for doing searches to make sure you didn't somehow bring on things you weren't supposed to have. But the delay has been removed so you can actually walk when you expect to. You now get Hunter experience from the Tears of Guthix. Not a huge distance in time between when the skills are released and when you can use XP on it. It's only Tears of Guthix, though. A little bit of XP once per week. Nothing super crazy, like being able to get millions and millions of XP. The Rock Golem random events now throw rocks, so you can't just safe spot them behind a rock. They are well familiar with rocks, and they will throw them at your face now. Very dangerous random events. No longer a thing. The Granite Maul special attack would use both attacks worth of special attack energy and only hit one time if you were spam clicking the special attack button. So that's been fixed. Possibly to make it so it does both attacks, and also possibly to make it so it only uses the one attack's worth of energy. It's one of those. Well, the main update on this day is the Treasure Trails update. whole bunch of new stuff, including new actual trails. These are emote clues. Specifically, you need to bring specific items, wear them, go to a specific location, and then do an emote. Really changes up the amount of things you need available to be able to do clue scrolls. And as there is tons and tons of items required, does make it a little awkward for us with the whole no bank business. Very, very much later, there will be ways to make this more convenient. But for now, we're just going to continue to not worry about clue scrolls. But unfortunately, it means we are going to be missing out on tons and tons of new rewards that we could, essentially, put inside the treasure boxes here. We got all kinds of things, from elegant, trimmed amulets, bob shirts, we got heraldic helmets, composite bows, emote enhancing items, god robes, god d-hide, and the ever elusive and incredibly rare Third Age. Even in the player-owned house here. Possibly not. But yeah, wildly, wildly rare things that we're probably not going to get. And especially the ones that have the full sets of things, definitely be difficult to get and be able to store here. None of it's very good equipment at this stage, especially with changes of evolution of combat and all that. Still very interesting, though. Stuff that we will see eventually when we do some clue scrolls. That is definitely eventually. In the graphical rework department, we got sheep, spiders, now more fluffy, more spidery. And over in this neck of the woods, the Watchtower Wizards are now more fancy, along with their machine here. And further to the south, an update to Gutenoth. Looks slightly different. More like what it looks like when we've seen it before, but nothing super crazy. Just a little bit less old looking, which has not stopped them from having Yanil look basically the same still. Updates. Graphical. Happens sometimes. Anyways. On December 12th, 2006, Player Gallery Christmas Edition. All sorts of Christmassy stuff. The RuneScape was bugged on the male character, so that's been fixed, which is nice since we are wearing it here. Changed light sources, so you can't extinguish them in the darkness, leaving you to be eaten alive by the bugs in the darkness. So, a little more safety in the spooky caves and such. And the God Dragonhide from the Clue Scroll update now requires 40 defense. Presumably that means it was at 1 defense, which made it very good for pure characters. But that's been changed. And we also get the next quest. This is the final quest of 2006. Animal Magnetism. Requires the Restless Ghost, Ernest the Chicken, the ability to enter Mauritania, which really means Priest in Peril, and a selection of skills here. 15 Thieving, which wasn't originally specifically a requirement, just because of how you get the thing you need for this. Slightly changed. But also 18 Slayer, 19 Crafting, 30 Ranged, and 35 Woodcutting. So, a good list of requirements here. And also a list of required items. a mithril hatchet, which we can easily make ourselves. Don't even have to boost for that, unlike the adamant hatchet. 5 unnoted iron bars, which we also easily make. Grab a ghost speak amulet from the swamp. Need to make a holy symbol. A bit more steps with that too. Need to get the silver, get the holy mold, make the star, ball of wool, bring that to the monastery, get that enchanted for us. Polished buttons, which are from ham members. The thieving should work perfectly fine, especially since we are 90 thieving. It's not going to be difficult to get the polished buttons. Bring a cowhide to the tanner to get hard leather. We also need to get ecto tokens, which we're not going to count the 9,000 ecto tokens we currently have. So we're going to need some pots and buckets and some bones. Not too many though. It's only 20. It's like 4 bones. That's perfectly fine. Oh, yeah. A good selection of things here. Easy enough to accomplish. Going to have to go a little bit out of the way to do all the mining and smithing, thieving, running around. Probably go and get the ectofile, also help. We're just going to end up taking a charter ship over to Port Phasmatis. That should do nicely. But yeah. I'm going to get all these different things from all over the place. And then we head to Draenor Manor. Perhaps getting the rock shell out for running all over the world wasn't the best plan. That's alright. Draenor Manor. Right in here. Wall. Candlesconce. And enter a different room. And here is Ava. Hello. Hello there, and welcome to my humble abode. It's sadly rather more humble than I'd like, to be honest. Although perhaps you can help with that. I'd be happy to make your home a better place. Not much into interior design, to tell you the truth. What's a nice girl like you doing in a place like this? Draenor Manor, not the best place to be. I'm actually pretty into interior design. It's kind of construction idea. So we'll just be helpful here. Start. Animal magnetism. I would be happy to make your home a better place. Yay! I didn't even have to talk about a reward. You're more gullible than most adventurers, that's for sure. Don't worry though. I just need your help to fix this vile old bed of mine. Then I'll find a suitable reward for you. Great. Will I be able to take a nap in it? Don't be silly. Everyone knows that true warriors don't ever sleep, or perform many other bodily functions for that matter. I'll come up with something, though. I'm not convinced by just a vague something. Can be a slight bit more inspiring in your offer. What I need is simple. A couple of undead chickens. You should be able to pick some up at the farm near Port Phasmatis. I'll use one for my bed, then see what I can make from the other in the way of a reward. I have some ideas involving infinite feathers. Very well then. I shall await my mystery prize with bated breath. Go get undead chickens from the farm near Port Phasmatis. That is something we can do, in theory. Grab our ecto tokens from the bones we used here. Collect. We get 20 while wielding our Ghost Speak Amulet, of course. Woo, 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 indeed. Now we officially have the 20 ecto tokens. Easier said than done here. Between all of the bars and the stuff to make the ecto tokens, took quite a few trips to different places here. Getting the ecto file was definitely a good call though, so that works. And here's Alice at the farm here. Hello, how can I help you? I'm here about a quest. I am after one of your, unhealthier poultry. Could you help me? You need those useless undead chickens? How odd you adventurers are. You need to talk to my husband, though. Not that I can these days. Why would that be? Can't you see? He is dead. I can't talk to the dead. Well, I'll give you an amulet to go speak, you could. Alice's husband, out in the field here. Floating around. Living his best unlife. Your animals don't look too healthy. It's that fountain thingy in the temple to the east. It's turned them all into zombies. What use are zombie animals? None at all, mate. Except that those worshippers at the temple keep coming and killing them for their bones. Don't ask me why. But you're a ghost. Surely you know something about it. I don't know nothing about nothing. Well, I'm a simple ghost with simple needs. All I know is, years ago, that temple started glowing green. A few months later, I woke up dead. That's all there is to it. I do miss the wife, though. Tell her I still loves her. Would I be able to buy some of your chickens? Talk to my wife and I'll think about it. Back and forth. Back and forth. This is not the best communication they got going on here. About that quest. I have a message from your husband. He wants you to know that he still loves you, despite his ghostly state. The curse of undeath was so cruel. All the men out here succumbed, but Lyra and I were left alive. Ever since that day, I've not been able to speak to him. Tell him I love him, but I can't find our savings. I know he had our collection of gold and prize cow rosettes just before the curse struck. I'll have a word with him then. Magic has its uses, I suppose. Hasn't been able to talk to him. He's right here. The magic of the amulet of ghost speak. Very convenient. You know, your wife says she needs the family cash. Wants to know what you did with it. Tell her I spent it on cheap spirits. Ah, ha, ha. Your sense of humor died too, it seems. Just trying to lift your spirits. I rest my case. Suit yourself, stick in the mud. Anyway, I'm not one of them yokels, till I put the cash in the bank like she always told me to. A warning to you, too. Annoy her and I'll haunt you till your hair turns white. We will try to not get haunted here. That does not sound like a good plan. We're just trying to get some chickens. It has to be so difficult. About that quest. Your husband says he put the cash in the bank. I'll use bank pass in that case. Can't you just take a ghost speak amulet? Then you could talk to him directly. I tried that once. When all of those other ghosts, and even the undead chickens and cows, scared me so much, I wouldn't try it again for all the cash in Varrock Bank. Yeah, undead cows trying to talk to you. You may not believe me, but she wants me to find your bank pass now. Maybe she said that, maybe she didn't. I think you're just after me savings. Tell her no one but a fool gives away their pass numbers. Go tell her now, if you're not a double-dealing scammer, that is. Fair point. Don't just give your bank pin to random people. Pro tip. Yeah, about the quest. He says he won't trust me with the bank pass. What if I gave you some sort of altered ghost speak amulet to him? Surely that would work? You're so clever. I've overheard passing adventurers say there's some witch near here who changes ghost speak amulets. I think she lives a bit west of that mad Professor Fenkin something, past the farming patch. See if I can find her. Big nose and monstrous hat, I assume. I wonder where the beautiful young witches hide. Mysterious indeed. But in this case, she actually looks pretty normal. This is the witch. Over here. Somewhat of a witch. Or a state. Old crone. Back over to the west. Over near the Slayer Tower. Talked to them quite a bit during Ghosts Ahoy. So we know precisely where to go. There's only so many people out here in Mauritania. Especially once you narrow it down to past Thinking Something's castle here. There's definitely a few new things in this area, though. Displacing a few things. If only slightly. Still in the general area. So it gets the job done. We've also got the path right up to the house. And some fun little balls here for later. But anyways, and inside here, talk to Nutty. Not here about Necrovarus this time. More about the farmers to the east of here, by Port Phasmatis. Alice and her husband are having trouble talking to one another and said you might be able to help. Ah, I know them. Shame about the cows. Why would they think that I could help? Alice seems to think you could alter a Ghostspeak amulet or to allow them to communicate. In addition, when I was attempting to thwart Necrovarus, you created a new type of amulet for me. I thought that perhaps you might be able to do so on this occasion. Well, the poor young lady has such family problems. I quite feel her pain. I'd be happy to help. You seem to have one of her golden hairs on your shoulder, so I can use that. In a flash, the crone whisks away an unseen hair from your shoulder. Talk to me again with a Ghostspeak amulet and some space in your backpack, and I'll be ready to work on this little good deed. The way I plan is quite simple, really. I can mirror part of the unused mystical essence of the Ghostspeak amulet, bind it with Alice's hair, and thus create a second amulet. The second amulet will be useful for the purpose you desire, though it won't work for any other ghost or human other than the farmer and his wife. That's perfect. We just need the Ghostspeak in the inventory here. Talk again. Hear about them. You see if you're ready to do your mystical stuff with my Ghostspeak amulet. I most certainly am. There you go. Wow, that was quick and painless. Just being a good neighbor. There you go. A crone-made amulet. Allows the ghost farmer to talk to Alice. A breakthrough. How magical. How neat. And instead of walking back, we will just teleport with the ectophile. It really is a very convenient teleport to get over to this other side of the world. Especially since the fairy ring down in to the south here is only into Xanaris. Still. It's unfortunate. But later will be other options. Anyways, Alice's husband, how you doing? And your wife said you have a special amulet. You could speak to her and sort out the bank situation without me being involved. Alright, that makes far more sense than I was expecting from a musclehead like you. My wife's a clever one. Well, oh, never mind. I'm desperate enough for those chickens to let that pass. Give me the amulet then. I'll be seeing about your unnatural desire for chickens. Okay, you need it more than I do, I suppose. It literally would do nothing for me, this amulet. Ta, mate. Luckily we had such a brilliant idea. He's got his amulet on. Lovely stuff. Many thanks. Was you wanting again? Need a couple of your chickens? Chickens is tricksy, especially dead uns. I'll have to catch them for you. They look pretty pathetic. How hard could it be? Stand back while I catch them, you city slicker. He's going to catch some undead chickens. Here, chickie. He's going for it. Miss. Surprisingly agile for an undead chicken. Look at the speed. Let him go. Get here, you pesky bird. Missed again. He's getting juked. Hey, how you doing, chicken? Where'd she go? He's having a hard time. Here's an undead cow, and Cow Elite Killer is here. Get off my land. You heard my husband. Leave now. Always the same. I can never get these animals to myself. Use his big axe to murder Bessie. You killed Bessie. Buying cowhides and feathers. Ah, that chicken's next. Feathers for me. Dun dun dun. Run, chicken, run. Woo woo woo. Now it seems getting in the bag is not a bad option. Well, that's one way to catch a chicken, I suppose. Okay. cow elite killer. Living the dream. Got a big axe, doesn't afraid of anything. Anyways. Hello, how can I help you? Selling if you have ecto tokens. Can I buy those chickens now then? I can hand over a chicken if you give me 10 of them ecto token thingies per bird. Can I buy 2 chickens? Great. I'm laying away me tokens for some killer cows. I'll learn them bone rustlers. He's gonna get cows that are too strong to kill the people that come in to try to take the bones in order to bring it back to the Ectofuntus. Sure. Another fun thing here. You can wield undead chickens. So we just have a chicken. Brilliant. Not what we need to be doing here, though. We need to get these back to Draenor. So all that was just to get 2 undead chickens. A little bit of extra effort. But we helped out in more ways. Always good to be helpful here. And we run back to Draenor Manor. The total distances we need to run aren't too shabby. Not too long. So, for the most part, we're not too worried about run energy. There we go for the necromancy quest again. Every time we run past here, it's like, hey, you should do that. Similar story to every time we're in the dig site. Wants us to go do archaeology. Later. We're getting there. We're working on it. Stop rushing me. Ava! We are back. Let's get into this room. Dr. Ava. My spiritometric devices show that you have been in close contact with ghostly animals. Are we closer to success? Here they are. Amazing. Success. I look forward to some good night's sleep after all. Can I ask exactly how an undead chicken will help you sleep? Well, I need the feathers to make my bed more comfortable. A comfortable bed will help me sleep. Obvious, really. Obvious? Yes. Why in Gillinor we need an undead chicken when there are perfectly good live chickens just down the road? Well, for a start, undead feathers are much cleaner than living ones. No dust mites or anything. Secondly, I always think of Ernest when I see a chicken, so my nerves can't take killing them. Then why do I need a chicken for my reward? We already established that I don't use a bed. Seeing as you ranger types use so many feathers in your arrows, I was thinking I could harness an undead chicken to make an unending supply of arrow flights for you. Beats chicken slaying or hanging around in fishing shops, I suppose. So what's next? We'll need a magnet next. One with purely natural fields and made from a certain carefully selected iron bar. A firm impact when the iron is parallel to Gillinor's field will stabilize this field in the rod. Go and talk to the witch next door. The witch next door. Alright. Pull the lever to exit this room. Secret door. What a time. And here is Hilda, the witch next door. Just still here in Draenor Manor. Hello, my poppet. What brings you to my little room? Ava told me to ask you about making magnets. Something about natural fields and other stuff. Sounded like she needed a farmer, to be honest. Don't worry, dearie. I can tell you just what to do, and you won't have to worry your pretty head about the complicated bits. No need to patronize me quite so much, you know? I went to income management classes, my lambkin. That's why I treated you so kindly. It's either this way or of talking, or I go back to shoving children into ovens. Just bring me 5 iron bars, though, and you're well on the way to never having to talk to me again. I'll be back. With 5 iron bars, which I have. Great. You'll go far. I made some nice painted metal toys for you, Snookums. Toys? Snookums? What are you on about, you deranged old bat? Oh, forget it then. If you won't react to kindness, I'm back to luring infants into my oven. You'll have it on your conscience. Go to the mine just northeast of Remington, and hit the bar with a plain old smithing hammer while facing north. Then take your new magnet to Ava. Poor girl having to deal with you whippersnappers like you. Here is the selected iron to make a magnet. Conveniently, we can very easily get to the mine northeast of Remington. That's where our house is. Super convenient. Very cool. Are missing a line of dialogue about why the Remington mine. It's because there was natural iron here. It's a good spot on the fields and such. But there's no iron in the Remington mine anymore. So that's not a thing. Hammer on the iron. Another tool belt shenanigan here. Also use this to make the axe though, so there we go. Facing north, hammer it, and we create a magnet. There you go. 1 bar magnet. Very nice. I'm just bring this right back to Ava. This wall really is pretty neat. There's a bookcase on this side originally. But anyways, we are back again. Just hanging out next to the bed. Awkward to go this direction because the halberd in the way. It's fine either way. I've manufactured the magnet. Here it is. Great stuff. With the witch's influence within the magnet, the undead chicken can use this, I'm sure. The plan is that the chicken will operate the magnet to attract bits of iron and steel, maybe even your own recently fired arrows. There are plenty of totally lost arrowheads lying around in fields of Gillinor, I bet. In addition, arrows which you fire should be able to be attracted back to your quiver by the cunning avian. I begin to understand your plan. We've covered feathers and arrowheads. Now, what's next? We need a source of wood, but one which is spiritually active and can regenerate itself. That will save you some hatchet work in the future. Try using a hatchet on the pesky trees in the garden here. The ones that attack rather than the really dead ones. They are probably just the sort of thing we could use. They'll try to kill me though, and I can't fight back. Now you know how those poor guards feel when you hide behind mushrooms and fences and attack them from afar. Anyway, I reckon you'll need to try a mithril or better hatchet on the trees. At least the trees are pretty close. Alright. And our magnet experience got some crafting experience, somewhat. Nearby trees that attack in the garden here. I have to find the right ones. Everything's been slightly moved around in Drainer Manor, yeah. Let's leave through this way. We got really dead trees. Some other trees. Dead trees. And for the ones that attack. Could be in the back now. We got some larger trees, which are definitely not the ones we're really looking for. Dead tree. Also spooky. Definitely a different layout to the manor here. Just using our hatchet on random trees here. Probably not ones that say we can chop it. I can't even use it on that. If I was a tree that attacks people, where would I have been moved to? For to hidey hole dead tree. That's not it. There's the fountain. It was a good time. I've done this quest since the update here. Dead tree, dead tree. I don't know if any of them attack anymore either. Nothing happens. Alright. Oh, there we go. Just right here. Use the hatchet on the tree. It's in the same place. Nothing happens. Try to chop it, the hatchet bounces off. Ports this back to Ava. Alright. Pretty much in the same location. It's just only a singular tree there instead of many trees throughout the entire manor grounds. And that does narrow down the search spot though, so that works. Well, I tried to hack the trees with my hatchet, but it just bounced off the trunk. It did all seem all too convenient to work on the first try. Fortunately for you, I've done some research, and it seems to suggest there are two choices open to you. Tell me the worst. The first is more interesting. We cut off your arms, have them reanimated as undead, reattach them, then you should be able to cut the trees normally. Of course, you won't be able to pick your nose anymore, so I suggest you'll want to try the second option. I'm not exactly addicted to picking my nose, but I do think I'll pass on that method. Well, in that case, I think we may have something to do with Slayer abilities. After all, I did see Turiel and his daughter poking around the trees while I was moving in. He's not known for his random touristic activities. You should try chatting with this Turiel or his daughter, Smria. He's the Slayer Master near Berthorpe, and she was last seen heading off on some army mission. Maybe one day I'll head out to test my experimental weapons on fearsome foes. Oh dear, hope he doesn't want me to buy one of his ridiculous fashion accessories. Those earmuffs he sells makes heroic adventurers look into a laughingstock. Specifically, only Turiel here. Spirit is later. He is up in Berthorpe. This would be a great time to have a games necklace, which we continue to not do. Let's run from Falador. It's perfectly fine. There he is. You can tell by the Slayer icon. Turiel, how's it going? Hello, what are you after then? Not a new Slayer task right now. More important things to deal with. Hear about a quest. Ava said she saw you hanging around the moving trees near Draenor Manor. Ah, you came to the right place. Odd things, those trees. What is it you are needing exactly? I think I need some of the wood from them, but my hatchet just bounces off the trunk. Sounds like you need a blessed hatchet. No one really makes them, though, these days. Blessed hatchets are too soft to cut normal wood, since the hatchet's edge must be replaced by holy silver. I can do you a favor, though. If you can give me a mithril hatchet and a holy symbol of Saradomin, I can let you have my hatchet. I'll make myself a new one when no one is pestering me for Slayer tasks. Okay, so I'll see whether I can spare a hatchet and a symbol. Thanks. I can, in fact, spare them. Turiel. About those dead trees again. I can make a hatchet for you now, if you wish. Remember, it'll be no use for normal woodcutting after I've added the silver edge. I'd love one, thanks. Here's a new hatchet. May it serve you well. We've got a blessed hatchet. Oh boy. Like you said, cannot be used for woodcutting anymore. Not that we were really intending to use it for woodcutting, so there's that. Getting a mithril hatchet is definitely more difficult when you don't already have a higher smithing level. We are in a position where we've accomplished these. There's definitely a few skill-based requirements that are Ironman exclusive for various quests. Just getting items that would be much easier to do if you just purchase it, obviously. This is more on the lower end compared to some of the things we're going to need eventually. Okay, make sure those are on my list of things that are difficult to accomplish that we need to make sure we have the levels for. Oh, there's another attacky tree. Alright. Blessed hatchet on the undead tree. Also going to steal a twig, but you don't quite manage it. Carve some, get some undead twigs. Are they trying to escape? They are very much alive, so wouldn't be too surprising. Wild stuff. Undead things and evil magic. We're definitely creating something here. Undead chickens and undead twigs and not really undead magnet, but whatever. Have that undead wood at last. Well, twigs anyway. You certainly took your time. I'd say they didn't grow on trees, but I'd guess you'd just be sarcastic about my sense of humor. Quite. Now that we have all the ingredients for infinite arrows, we just need a container in which we can keep the components in the correct mutual alignment. I've gathered together some research notes from various sources, but I can't quite make out what they mean. If you want to have a go at making them out, just ask me for a copy. Yes, please. Like, look at those research notes now, unless you have translated them without me. They're still stumping me. Here are the notes. I really hope your head doesn't explode from reading them. I'd find it slightly inconvenient, I'm sure. It wouldn't be all bad, as your body would be useful for research after death. What I'd be upset about was if bits of you landed on my nice new bed. It does look very nice. Looking much nicer. New feathers, a bit of care, and the bed is now comfortable. Your concern is touching. Anyways. Translate. Research notes. You fiddle with the notes. We've got all sorts of things happening here. You can turn off some of the notes, turn on the other ones. And it all makes sense. That was just me remembering which ones it was. We got the chicken, goes in the bag. You get some arrows, a magnet, there's buttons and hard leather as a twig. It all makes sense. We just clicked the buttons and there we go. It really was just that easy. Translated these notes. See? I'm not just some thuggish moron like you seem to think. For all I know is pure luck, so don't jump to any conclusions about your mighty intellect. I can see why you don't exactly have assistants. You're not exactly easy to work with. Let's get back to the work we're doing then. Remember, this is all a favor to you. I could have just decided to fob you out with a feather duster. I've given you a pattern for the container. You need to combine them in some polished buttons and hard leather. Then we're almost done. Good news, eh? If you're having trouble finding buttons, I've heard rumors that the Ham Society carries this sort of stuff more than most. Really? How'd you know this strange detail? I hear they lose their clothes a lot to thieves, so they have to make do with shoddy goods. Whatever the reason, they seem to be carrying buttons about in their pockets. We've already stolen everything we need. Pattern on the leather to make a container. All the stuff in it. Or I guess it's just the container. Wow, great. I use the arrow. Now the arrow manufacturer is ready for use. There you are. Talk to me if you need more information later. You're also skilled enough that I'm rewarding you with the upgraded version right away. Congratulations. Quest complete. 1 quest point. 2,500 Woodcutting XP, 1,000 Crafting, Fletching, and Slayer XP. We get to keep the Blessed Hatchet, yay. And the Ava's Accumulator / Attractor. We got the Accumulator because we are level 50 range. Attractor is for 30. There you go. 50 range, we got 80. Easy enough. And exactly how this works has changed slightly. Let's get some information from Ava here. Hello again, I'm busy with my newest research, so can't gossip too much. You have your information, an upgrade, another device, or would you like to see my goods for sale? Information, please. Just a few bits of information before you can run away to persecute rock crabs or cows. Firstly, your new device won't work if you're wearing certain metallic chest armors. Metallic attraction required for operation would cause feedback, so the device does not allow such incompatible item equipage. Secondly, although the device is calibrated to attract only arrowheads, there's a chance that other magnetically active items will be attracted. The arrow recovery function of the device is slightly different and relies upon a harmonic bond between your arrows and the chicken's magnet, thus to only recover arrows which you have fired rather than those fired by nearby folk. You also need to move about if you want to collect arrows, since the gathering of long-lost arrowheads can't work otherwise. Finally, the device will only work when worn, automatically deactivates in other circumstances. I was worried about what would happen if you were to place it in a bank in its active state, so I've made sure it only works when it's on your back. Lots of features mentioned there. Some of them not really things yet. Current idea of the Ava's device here is a slight range boost, as it is a ranging kind of thing. But mostly, or it's a good range boost. But the whole idea of the quest, getting the undead chicken for the feathers, with the magnet to attract items, and the twig for sticks, is that it becomes a arrow producing machine. Not too good. You just get some arrows sometimes. And it also attracts random other bits of stuff. Like just random garbage, basically. which is really not what you want most of the time. Every so often you get stuff like additional random ammunition, broken arrows, and arrowheads and such. As a toggle later, or at some point. Also, the way that it retrieves your arrows doesn't exist yet. Not that we really have any arrows or other ammunition we'd want to retrieve. Our ranged weapons are these red chinchompas, which wouldn't work, and then the crystal bow. The real problem is the range ammo in general. A bit of a effort to get good enough range ammo that actually matters and something that can actually fire it. So, even though that feature doesn't exist yet, we wouldn't be making use of it anyways. Also, they said it interferes if you have the metal chest plates on, which is much more of a problem when ranging with a metal chest plate wasn't a massive, massive detriment. It would just be slightly more tanky. But now, switching styles does not work at all. Not a good combo. Also of note, it has a store here. If we would have gotten the level 30 attractor, we would need some steel arrows to upgrade it into an accumulator. Which he has them here. Along with a whole bunch of arrowheads, feathers and stuff. Not a bad shop, all things considered. Pretty cool. And now, I think we will go and do our ranging. We got our chinchompas. We got our new backpack, which should be slightly better in the range department than the Legendscape here. Just switch out our rock shell for the spine. It's very easy. It's like a mini bank up here. Living the dream. Anyways, equip all this and the chinchompas, and we are pretty much good to go. Let's see if we can see just how much better the backpack is here. We're at 67, 25, 13. This is 67, 25, 13. That's very similar. Should still be better though, I think. Also, just looks more rangy. That counts for something. It also has more armor. So, that's nice. Where are we going to fire off all of these red chinchompas? Somewhere with a lot of monsters, in order to hit them all with the AoE explosion. That's the dream. Hopefully this doesn't go too poorly over here in the abyss. I want to see if we can get into a situation where there's not a huge number of them attacking me at the same time, preferably. Some of them have like range attacks and stuff, which isn't ideal. We can get a decent amount of XP here. Hits are pretty good. Right here we're getting like attacked by like too many things at the same time. Don't click at that. We can hit in a 3x3, it's up to 9 guys at the same time. If they stack this, we're going to hit less guys, which is unfortunate for the XP. We also need to consider how many things we're getting hit by in order to stay longer and not die. Let's stack up reasonably here. Getting chunks of range XP. See if this feels like a reasonable idea. We're definitely going through food, which is concerning. It's going to be this many chinchompa firings. See how many trips it ends up being. So we could get a level here, though. Maybe. We will see. Just depends how much XP per thing. Killing multiple things at a time, more things aggroing on us. Run around, back and forth. Started with 774. Already fired at least 25 here. Getting chunks of XP. These guys having range attacks is not helping. There's also the fact that Spined is not very good in the armor department whatsoever. We also can't really use prayer here to decrease the damage we're taking, since the abyss drains prayer when you come into it. So that'd be a lot of prayer potions we would need to acquire in order to keep that up. Again, more things that'd be much easier with a bank. We're already going through quite a few sharks here. But we got these chinchompas. Might as well use them. Probably good range XP. I mean, they're also significantly weaker than the crystal bow would be. They're only realistically level 55 and only main hand weapons. The crystal bow is level 70. But also has this whole AoE attack business going for it, so pros and cons, I suppose. Taking plenty of damage, though. Well, there is 81 ranged. Managed to chuck 130-ish chinchompas in the first inventory. And then we're back again. That is unload, once abilities are things. Not too many higher level abilities than that, for the most part. Well, that's something. Here's the last of the chinchompas. It took far too many trips here, honestly. When I say it was worth it for the experience, also questionable. There you go. We are done with the chinchompas. That is an inventory space. So, we have some positives going here. But anyways, we're going to go put all our stuff away here. Always a good time. We got storage opportunities here. This should be on the cape rack, probably. There's been a lot of instances where the things are put onto the cape rack or the costume room, any location, a little bit later than when they're added. See, this is all the way down here. This might not actually be possible. Generally, it's in the order of things that exist on the rack, so I don't think we can put this on here, actually. Also, it turns out the actual defensiveness is the only thing that actually is better right now. The actual range attack bonus is the same as the cape. Easily reobtainable from Ava. Just a little bit of money and some steel arrows or something. Nothing to be super crazy about. Very retrievable if we want to. And eventually we might. But for now, we've got the last updates to go and do. On December, wait for it, going to Karamja, on December 18th, 2006, a few things going on the website. We got the RuneScape Christmas cards. You can print out, fold, sign, have a good time. Post bag from the hedge, featuring such gems as Grax and Romeo. More area guides for Mauritania, the Caribbean Desert, Feldip Hills, and Turanwin. Quest Help system, added for Big Choppy Bird Hunting, Garden of Tranquility, Spirits of the Elid, and Tears of Gothics. In-game, the amulets from the Treasure Trail update now have the T, since they are trimmed amulets, trying to be consistent with all the other things. And, most importantly, the Christmas event, taking place here on usually sunny Karamja. It's now got a bit of snow all over the place. The Goblinches have children-napped the childrekins of Musa Point, Jack, Jeff, and Jill. And they've taken them to a cave south of the Karamja volcano. We're over to the dock, talk to Shanty Claus, a singing pirate werewolf. Tells you how you can go and save the kids. Go gather snowballs south of the volcano. Bring it down into the Gumblinge lair. Pelt them until they freeze and break into shards. Bring the Gumblinge shards back to Shanty Claws. Put them in cages. And so the kids can escape from having to stoke the furnace. And then you are rewarded with the reindeer hat. Looking very festive. Also comes with its own little emote here. Amazing. And for members only, you get a Windtumber tree you can put in your play-around house. Unfortunately, since we didn't actually complete the event here, we don't actually get a tree for our actual house. So, sad times. There's just a whole bunch of stuff that we don't get to have. But we make do with what we can in our completely nonsense for the time, but exists and works Dragon Halberd and Rock Shell setup we got going. Anyways. And that is the last update of 2006. But there are a few more news posts. December 19th, 2006. Be careful of websites claiming that they are showing off new updates or a spin-off game, or they'll give you player moderator status, or selling gold or anything like that. Those are scams. They're going to steal your password. Just don't. Report people advertising websites in-game. Go to the forum emergencies thread to report anybody spamming on the forums. Just, in general, do not go to the websites. It's not going to go well. And on December 20th, 2006, do not try to buy RuneScape gold for IRL cash. That's against the rules. It's not a good Christmas present. You will be banned. Like Timmy's going to learn next year. That's a whole story. Just generally, stop trying to break the rules. Please stop getting your accounts hacked. It's so much extra effort for the player support staff to deal with. 2006. It's still a work in progress here. And that brings us to December 31st, 2006. And we are done. Next year, things are going to start changing. And then, we get some exclusive updates. Next time. Goodbye.